Hello and welcome. This is Intelligence Modifier, day 6 of RPG a Day. The question on our minds, and everyone else's hopefully, is how can players make a world seem real? You know? What's your answer there, Theo?
How I myself, as a GM, will make, like, how I've seen my players do it. And as a player myself, actually, I pretty much, I get into the lore, I get into the backstory, I read all this different stuff. So if I'm building a character that is, say, like from Ravenloft, it's got the horror setting, and I'll read this stuff, and I've had a player build a knight from this world. He did all this reading, he did all this stuff, and he came in going, I'm going to start this new crusade under this god. I'm going to do all these things. I have no family, so they can't target me. This is what I'm doing. And this was his first time playing in this setting, and he devoured all the stuff. But he made it real, and he'd show up all fire and brimstone and ready, and it was kind of great to watch. How about you, Clint?
I like to take active... I think with players, when they take active roles, this is going to sound really silly, when they take an active role in the community. So, when they help actually take part in the world. So, if they start a family, gain local government, actually run cities and all that jazz. Or, take part of, not just be like a generic guild member number 40, actively take part in the guild. Which is what one of my characters did. I was old 3.5. I was a mage of the Arcane Order. We actually made the Arcane Order be the Wizards Guild. I was a published author, and I was a guest professor. So I would regularly give lectures on the application of magic in the setting of an adventuring group. And that made the whole thing more. It was our home base. We spent way more time in the Arcane Order as a group than we really needed to, but it was like our home base area. So, yeah, stuff like that. Just actively, not just, it's just hack and slash, taking active part of it as a whole kind of thing.
Well, for me, I understand taking an active role in the world and everything. And I guess when I was playing with my friends back in high school, X number of years ago. Can't remember the exact year.
Men and moons.
Yeah, fortnights ago. I took a bit of a different approach, and we were starting up a new campaign. Our level, 21 characters that we'd played from level 1 had just gotten killed off by a mist dragon. We wanted something a little more fun, a little lighthearted. Yeah, oops is right.
Oops.
And so... I accidentally the whole party. Is that bad?
Dragons!
Who could have known?
I'm done with this campaign. Dragon.
I'll have to tell you the story of how I almost lived. But aside from that, I actually 3D modeled an inn that our characters built in-game. But I 3D modeled it on my laptop in our downtime. And eventually, I was like, hey, what do you want in your room to be decorated? How many guest rooms do we have? What kind of a bartender do you want? That sort of stuff. And we kind of had a great time with that. And maybe we spent more time on that than playing for the first 6 months. But that's okay. When you play weekly, you kind of have time to burn.
Hey, I still have the original maps of the cities that we visited in my first D&D campaign. Not in my parents' house. They're 20 feet from me right now. They're here. They're shittily hand-drawn maps. I still have the originals.
Bust them out.
I should frame my first character sheet. I should actually frame my first one because I still have it.
I think it's one of the fun things about making a world real for players and even for GMs and DMs themselves. Especially when it's setting house will support that. Adventures in Middle Earth. I know I talk about this game a lot, but it's really fun. But they even, one of their campaigns, they actually encouraged players during the downtimes to raise a family because the in-game campaign takes place over 30 years. So human characters will retire after 10 to 20. So they encourage, hey, build a family, and then your kids will just take over for you in the stuff. You get to build a house, become a homesteader. It's just really fascinating. Just when games will support that kind of stuff as well, so that it's not just the GM's saying we have to do this, well, what if we don't want to kind of thing.
It's sometimes hard to get to that. I've played games where I was a character and I was not inspired to do anything like that. And then there's characters I've played that I role played them to a T, whatever their actions were. I drew their houses, the layouts, all this stuff. And I've had that same those both sides of that spectrum with literally the same exact character type. Like if it was a wizard and I had no inspiration, and then the same character basically just playing a different wizard, and I had all this inspiration.
I think it definitely goes for like the type of game, and if like the GM goes, hey, we're going to be doing this kind of thing, and then the players are just like, that's fascinating. You just get that fire and you want to just build stuff and everything like that. And it's just great. That's one of the reasons why I love like just how all these different things of like what we have for games that are out there and the different tastes. Like it's a lot of fun, say with like building a ship in like Star Wars or Starfinder or something, and you like, we're gonna make it personable and do all this stuff, to building a tavern like Johnathan talked about. Like it makes the game just that much more real, and then
stakes in it.
Yeah,
real crap can happen.
Which
you could lose your stuff. Which
is a great segue for tomorrow.
Yeah. We're totally teasing for tomorrow.
I don't even remember the question, so
well, we're fine. That's okay. We don't have to answer it until tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Well, until tomorrow then. This has been Intelligence Modifier. Have a great day.
Good night, everybody.